Now, let's talk about the Girl Guides and indeed the Boy Scouts. Apparently, Girl Guides are being taught by the Girl Guide mistresses. Are you allowed to say that sort of thing now? I get confused. The Girl Guides are people with cervixes or something like that. They're being taught that there are 100 genders. How many times have we heard this before? Now, this is a fashionable theory. You might believe it, you might not, but I'm not sure it's provable. Also, the Scouts, Boy Scouts, can now get a new badge called Trans Fun. What's Trans Fun? Does anyone know? What should a badge says Trans Fun for? This is nonsense. This is nonsense. Both organisations have been accused of woke claptrap. And what I might say is, is this more indoctrination of our children? We're getting it in schools. Now it seems we're getting it in the Girl Guides and the Boy Scouts. Indoctrination of our children, not with scientific facts, but with fashionable theories, woke theories. And this is, I think, is very worrying. So the woke scout leaders, of course, have also banned terms like dinner ladies, man-made, Christian name. They've renamed their favourite Chinese whispers game broken telephone. So everything is all right now. The Boy Scouts, they no longer call it Chinese whispers, they call it broken telephone. So therefore, all is right with the world. I mean, who's in charge here? I'm talking about grown-ups indoctrinating children. People coming up with this claptrap, they're not grown-ups. I don't know what they are, but we're going to talk to a grown-up now. Let's talk to political commentator Russel Quirk. Good afternoon, Russell.
Thank you. I'm not sure that you're allowed to say grown-up because I think that might be offensive to children.
Exactly.
Seriously. Sorry, where is this going, Kevin? Where is all of this going? This woke, sanitised nonsense that we keep hearing about, and the right-minded, common-sense people on talk radio seem to be in talk TV are the only ones that really seem to be calling this stuff out. Every other media outlet seems to think this is all perfectly normal and okay. The fact now, you talk about some of the scout phrases that have been banned now, this indoctrination. The other one is you're not allowed to say the phrase falling on deaf ears. So that's another one that is now banned because it might be offensive to those that are hard of hearing. Can you believe this ridiculous state of affairs?
It's insane. I'm just hearing that if you can look on our screens, you can see that the Scouts website has now removed its trans fun badge declaration. So someone there has made this decision. Right, you can get a trans fun badge now. And now, obviously, someone with some common sense at the Scouts has said this is absurd. So they've got rid of it. But my point is, why do they make this decision in the first place? And why are the Girl Guides being taught there are 100 genders? I'm not saying that whether there are or not, but it is not a scientific fact.
But Kevin, is the irony lost on us and the rest of the population? This is the Girl Guides talking about gender. It's the Girl Guides talking about gender. So I presume they're immediately going to change their name to the Person Guides, are they? The People Guides?
The People with Cervix Guides.
Yeah, I mean, one would imagine.
People who can get pregnant guides. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. The Girl Guides that have advised staff to learn a glossary of words such as aromantic, demisexual, agender, and they've also said it might be worth printing it off so you can reference it with the children.
But they're not even words, are they? This is stuff that's just made up by the woke left because it kind of sounds like modern language. And all of this, of course, is designed not to offend. And what a society that we now are sleepwalking into on the basis that no one can be put in a position where they can be offended. And by offence, I presume these people mean that you shouldn't have to come in contact with anyone that has a contrasting opinion. Now, what does that do for education, for debate? And what does that do for, the cut and thrust of politics? What does it do for comedy? Comedy is all about offence. So, very, very soon, and look, we laugh about this, but the serious point is that this sanitised cotton wool wrapping, whereby, everybody seems to be second-guessing and apologising for those that might possibly, at a stretch, be offended. What we end up with is this clinicised environment. I actually think this might be communism, Kevin, seriously. You know, the fact that, well, you know, communists, Mao, Stalin and so on spent a lot of time, you know,
Maoesque. There's no doubt about that. It is.
But these communist leaders spent a lot of time telling their populations what to think and what to say. So I would argue that the Scouts and the Girl Guides and certain civil service departments, these woke idiots that are trying to sanitize everything just in case one tiny iota of society might possibly be offended, it is tantamount to communism. That's what we are letting ourselves in for.
The Girl Guides, Sir John Hayes, the Common Sense Group chairman in Westminster, the MP, he accused the Girl Guides of basically talking woke claptrap, and I think he's got a good point there. But the Girl Guides say that the children, as in the Girl Guides, should, quotes, know the importance of embracing different identities. There are so many identities and experiences within the LGBTQ plus community. The idea of talking about it might feel overwhelming. We've put together some simple advice, explained lots of terms and suggested activities that you can do with any section. Why? It's the Girl Guides. It's the Girl Guides.
Look, I'm all for someone designating themselves as whatever gender they want, right? I'm fine with that, right? There is biology, though, of course, which is that, you know, there's biological boys and biological girls. Forget cervixes and penises and vaginas for a second. It's about chromosomes, right? And you can't change your chromosomes. You're either XXXY, whatever you are designated as being. So how there can be more than two genders, apart from to these fantasists on the left, is absolutely beyond me. Going back to that comment that you made just now about the trans fun badge in the Scouts, you know that is available to people within the Scout and Cub organisation, apparently, as young as the age of 4. Tell me what a 4-year-old, even a 14-year-old, but let alone a 4-year-old knows about trans rights or the trans movement. If you said trans to most 4-year-olds, they'd think you were talking about transformers, not transgender.
I mean, that's the point, isn't it, Russell? It's like, you know, Girl Guides can be quite young. Obviously, Boy Scouts can be. Certainly at school, you know, you go down to the age of about 4. And, you know, what is an appropriate age to start talking? I don't in any way say that kids should not be told about this sort of thing. It's a factor of modern life, but maybe not when they're 4.
It's not conversation, though, is it? Because, you know, I've got 4 kids. You know, my 3 daughters are 12, and 13, right? So they're going through that stage of secondary school where they're starting to absorb stuff from their peers, you know, whether it's about relationships or sex or whatever it's about, right? And that's how these kids learn, right? But that's conversation. What we've got here is a case of official organisations with responsibility that should know better indoctrinating. It's not conversation. This is being forced upon youngsters as young as the age of 4, and the outcome, the unintended consequences of this, I think, are going to be really, really perilous in the future. Yeah,
given this, you just said you got 2 12-year-olds and a 13-year-old, but all daughters. Would you let them join the Girl Guides, or have they?
No, but I might be writing to them to suggest a few things they could change their name to, I think, because they can't possibly now be called the Girl Guides, can they?
The non-binary guides, something like that?
Yeah, maybe the 100 gender guides.
The 100 gender guides. It's crazy. Great to talk to you, Russell. As always, Russel Quirk, political commentator there.